What is up, my friends? How are we? I promised you I'd be back, and here I am. Fresh off the back of that 0-0 Everton-Newcastle game. Anthony Gordon missing a penalty there. So yes, are we all settled into being top of the league? We're all okay with being top of the league. Happy enough with being top of the league? Did I mention we're top of the league? Because we're top of the league. I know, there's a long way to go, but still, we're allowed to celebrate these little moments, right? Going into another international break, top of the league. Did I mention we were top of the league? I probably forgot to talk about being top of the league. Feel free to let me know if I haven't mentioned being top of the league, because I think we might be top of the league, you know. Don't get carried away though, Craig, he says as he's already polishing the trophy up, ready to go. Look, it's a good start. 9 wins from 10. We can't complain about that. So yeah, let me know what you guys are enjoying this Saturday evening or what you're up to. I thought I'd just come back on, do a little stream before we finish up, because I'm away then for 9 days or so, 8 or 9 days, so no live stream. So yeah, last one, enjoy. Looks like it's going to be a quiet one as well, because it's Saturday night, no notifications I believe as well. So yes, thank you to all of you who are coming in to join us. And look, we're disappointed obviously with the Alisson Becker injury today. That's taken some of the gloss off the victory. Well done to Jaros, by the way. I thought he came in and performed remarkably well in the few bits and pieces he had to do. But we do need Alisson back, and it looks like, again, early doors, but the gaffer feels like it'll be the November international break, the other side of that maybe, before we see Alisson. Of course, Caoimhín Kelleher was unwell today, and Alisson went off injured. But, as I said, full credit to Miroslav Jaros, who I thought was incredible when he came on. Alisson whole season. I don't remember anybody saying Alisson's going to be out for the whole season. I certainly haven't said it now. No, it's going to be out till it looks like, and again, there's been no full prognosis on this, but it looks like probably 6 to 8 weeks is the perceived wisdom at this moment in time, which is it's going to be difficult because this is coming into a time of the season where games are coming thick and fast, and we could do it, Ali. So yeah, over to you, Kelleher, over to you, Jaros, and see how they get on. Again, I thought it was a remarkable performance from our captain today, fully deserving of his man of the match win as well, both on TNT Sport and of course from you guys. I think fully deserving of it. Alexis McAllister, looks like that was a precaution, by the way, so he's going to travel over to take his place with the Argentina squad. We'll wait and see how he gets on over the international break, but it was just a precaution. He felt a little bit of discomfort, and I guess the gaffer just wanted to be better safe than sorry. Is Alisson a hamstring? It looks that way, mate. Yeah, it looks like a hamstring. At least that's what Verge was saying as well afterwards. Which is just really unlucky, you know, because we know how good Ali is. We know how consistently good Ali is. But yeah, these injuries are starting to become a little bit more repetitive. And I guess maybe you can make an argument this is why the club are looking to bring in Georgi Mamadashvili at the end of the campaign. What's this one? So, okay, transfer news reporting that if Ten Hag gets the bullet, that it will be Ruud van Nistelrooy who will be replacing him on an interim basis. Yeah, I mean, look, I wouldn't touch it if I was a manager at this moment in time. Certainly if I was an up-and-coming manager like Van Nistelrooy, I'm not so sure I'd be racing to take over at Old Trafford. It does feel like a bit of a poison chalice at the minute, but big game tomorrow between Villa and United, and if United get beaten there, that could be hello lettuce, bye-bye Ten Hag. Stevie boy, how are you, bro? Lovely to see you back in again. Said great start, being top of the league. Unfortunately, Craig, squad depth will cost us trophies again. Do you know what, mate? I'm hoping we can get through to January in a good position, and at least within striking distance. I'm not expecting us to be top of the league come that point, if I'm being honest with you. But if we're within 3 or 4 points of the top of the league, if we can do that in that January market, then maybe it won't cost us as much as you and I both fear. The lack of squad depth, or squad additions is probably a fairer word, that we're all worried about. Certainly today, look, McAllister went off at half-time, and you could see a bit of a drop-off from the midfield in the second half as he wasn't there. You know, he's one of those players that make others around him lift their game as well. So, let's wait and see. But, all of that being said, Stevie boy, it is still 10 games played, 9 victories, 3 goals conceded. Come on now. That's pretty good. I'm taking that. You think United would have learned from hiring ex-United players? Some of the fans, Charlie, were even talking about bringing back Solskjaer. I mean, talk about revisionism. It is a weird one. Like, I don't understand why they didn't make this decision in the summer. It was clear that Ten Hag wasn't going to turn it around. Well, at least to me on the outside, and most people I've spoken to. But, you know what? I'm just so relieved this isn't our mess. You know, we had our own manager to replace, and whilst Jurgen is his own man and Arne is his own man, at least our new gaffer has hit the ground running and looks like he knows what he's trying to do or where he wants to get this group to. And I also love hearing Arne Slot speak about what a great squad he inherited from Jurgen as well. I love to see him acknowledge that. The Greenock Morton, let me get your comment up, my friend. Appreciate your support, sir. Thank you. This could be my last season at this. I've been saying it in our Discord group. I'll get into that in more detail in a while. But for your post, sir, Craig, what a day. My team, Greenock Morton, 150th anniversary today. Well, congratulations, mate. That's a crazy long time, isn't it, for a football club to be established? And now watching your favourite YouTuber, we take that, mate. Thank you so much. And congratulations, well, 150 years up. Nothing too shabby about that. So this will be our 130th year. Is it 140th? 140th. No, 130th. 132nd. Yeah, sorry, it's 2024. 122nd year as a club for Liverpool. 132nd year, I should say. 150, 16 years away. I hope I see the 150. And thank you, bro, for your super chat. And again, I hope you had a good day. 150. There was another, was it? I swear there was 150 years around the Villa Bayern thing as well. I swear I heard 150 years being mentioned for that. Right, what else we got? Southgate will be glorious for them. I hope. I refuse to believe that they're stupid enough to give Southgate the job. I fear they might. And I say I fear, I don't fear. I fear for the English game because, my God, imagine having to listen to him all over again. Press conference after press conference. United are built off attacking football. And if they bring in Southgate, I just expect more failure, to be honest. So bring it on. It's going to cost them a lot of money to sack and replace him as well. Isn't it mad how much money managers make from being sacked? You know, it cost them about 17 million quid to sack Ten Hag, according to reports. Hey Craig, definition of a daymaker. I was watching the Man City game. My 2-year-old son walks into the TV room and yells at me saying, "Dad, no, that's naughty." Your son's right. You shouldn't be watching Man City games, mate. Come on now. Yeah, they just about got over the line today. 3-2 against Fulham, I think it was, for their game. We had a little hope there for a while that maybe Arsenal were going to drop points, but they turned it round, beat Southampton by 3-1. Craig, did you say last year? So, I guess I'm going to address it somewhat. I've always said I'm not going to hang around if we look like we've hit our peak as a channel. And today was the first day in 2 years that we slightly lost out on viewers to Red Men. And I don't like going backwards. So, as I've always said, if the interest stops being here, I'll pack it up at the end of the season and say my goodbyes to people. I don't know if it's a short-term thing or if people are losing interest in what we're doing. And either way, there's not much I can do about it other than carry on doing what I'm doing. But look, it is what it is. The wheels are going to come off at some point. And I'm not going to be somebody that just drags this out for 2 years, 3 years, just trying to revive something that maybe isn't worth reviving or isn't able to be revived. But I don't make these decisions quickly, so I'm going to think about it over my week off and see what I can come up with. Yeah, it's been a weird start to the campaign, this one. It's been really weird from a content perspective because we're doing really well, but the interest just doesn't feel like it's there, and the numbers seem to be down right across the Liverpool platforms that I'm able to see anyway. Our numbers, others' numbers, it just feels like the Liverpool fan base isn't as engaged online this season, which, look, happens. I don't understand the ups and downs of it all, to be honest with you. I told you I feel like I've been blagging this since day one. So, look, whatever happens, happens, but whatever does happen, fuck me, it's been an incredible ride. So, yeah, I'm just going to go out and do it my way with a smile on my face and see what happens. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's the first down period I've had on the channel, and I don't know. I always take these things and overthink them, I think, probably. Carla said, Craig, 17.5 million if we sack Ten Hag tomorrow, but comes off our FFP and builds up more debt. I know, and you guys were given an exemption, I think, Carla, as well. I think you had a 40 million quid loss under the profit and sustainability rules, and that was... You were granted an exemption is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, 17.5 million quid hit to the finances would certainly cause headaches. But I guess if you're Jim Radcliffe or the Glazers or whomever, you look at that and you think, you got to weigh this up, right? Is it worth staying with Ten Hag and eventually maybe having to fire him anyway? Or do you bite the bullet, get it done and look to salvage something from the season? Because right now, wow, they're low, like 13th, 14th today when I was looking last. So yeah, it is a difficult one for the higher ups. But honestly, Carla, I don't understand why they gave him that 1 year extension, because I don't know a United fan who was convinced. I know plenty of United fans who are willing to give him more time, to their eternal credit, but I've not really met many who were convinced by what he's doing there. But I will say United fans have been quite patient. Probably more so than they should have been with Ten Hag. You can talk about the 2 trophies he's delivered. I get that as well. But for me, if it was me and it was Liverpool and I was looking at it, I'd feel very uneasy knowing that it's not really going to go anywhere with him. 14th as of this stream. Now look, I know United didn't play today, so but it's still a difficult game tomorrow, right, against Villa. And I'm raging I'm going to miss that game, actually. I'll be on a plane. I'll probably get to watch the first half on my phone, but I'll be on a plane then. So I'll be just landing and checking the result. How much time will Ali miss? It's looking like 6 to 8 weeks. But, again, don't quote me on that, because we have to wait and see. We wait and see what the scans show up. You often look at body language in these situations, and Alisson looked angry. Not at the situation, not at anyone, but he looked angry and frustrated. This has been a niggling issue for him that he's just come back from, and now it looks like it's gotten a little bit worse, unfortunately. So yeah, it's going to be difficult. Thankfully, we've got a great goalkeeping department. We know that Quiveen will step up. Yaros did himself proud today. Did us all proud as well when he came on. But yeah, it's a big couple of months coming up for the Reds. Chelsea straight after the international break. If you win that, you start to feel more confident. Then I think it's Arsenal up next. So bigger tests to come, and we could have done with the best goalkeeper in the world. Van Nistelrooy could be interim manager. Yes, my friend, Mark just sent me that actually on WhatsApp to say that Ruud van Nistelrooy may step in as interim manager if indeed they sack Ten Hag. So any United fans that are watching, or even us, I guess, as neutrals, if you were Liverpool fans, my fellow Liverpool fans, what do you think? If you were in charge at United now, what would you be doing in this position? I'd probably be making the play for Tuchel. In all honesty, I think he's probably somebody who could maybe steady things a little bit. But I was watching Mark Ogden actually on Sky last night, and he was talking about him not being able to manage upwards with regards to Tuchel. Talking about managing upwards as in a structure, he's not really great working within that structure. He's more of an old school, wants more control type manager. So I don't know if that's possible at United with the current setup with Omar Barada and of course the Dan Ashworth as well. I see the future in Yaros. Well, he's only got a few months left on his contract, mate. Yaros is in the same camp with Virgil, Mohamed and Trent, all out of contract at the end of the season. And Yaros is another one. Where's the money? John said, you're the only Liverpool content creator I'm looking forward to seeing every day. It'd be so sad if you were to leave. What would you do for a job? I don't know. On the job front, haven't thought that far ahead yet. I'm sure I'll do something. Ideally, I'd probably go back to college. I say back to, I never got a chance to go to college. I'd probably go to college and study to get a psychology degree or something. But I don't know. As I said, it's been a difficult last month. My uncle died yesterday as well. I never mentioned that on the stream, and that kind of brought up some more memories as well of really tough times growing up, you know. So, it's been a rocky month, and I'm just not feeling very upbeat. Apparently, Yaros wanted to leave in the summer too. I don't blame him if he did, you know. You don't want to be too far down the pecking order at a club. Second, maybe you can understand as a young keeper coming through. He had a great loan spell last year as well. I think he won a double over in Austria, if I'm not mistaken. Won an FAI Cup before that in Ireland as well with St. Pat's. So, yeah, I mean, he's a good keeper. I've said that all the time. I'd have no issues using Yaros. And today he came on and I thought he did us proud. Sorry to hear about your uncle. A long story. I'm not going to... long story. Let me just say that, long story. I don't really speak to that side of my family too much. I only found out because one of my aunts rang me last night to let me know. And I guess anything that's a link to your parents or anything like that kind of hits home a bit, doesn't it? Cameron said, "I'm in mental rehab, bro. Your streams help get me through the day." Oh, dude, I've been where you're sitting. I've been where you're sitting, my man. So keep going, Cameron. If you were the Liverpool manager and FSG gave you 100 million, who would I spend it on? I'd probably go after that midfielder that I know that we need, and then probably look to bring in the centre back. I'd probably spend on a centre back and a midfielder, in all honesty. And I'm sure I'd probably be able to just about get that done with 100 million. Lynn said, hopefully the time in Turkey will help you feel better. Yeah, I hope that as well, mate. I do, because I haven't been myself lately. Hasib said, I think Chiesa is too injury prone. It is defo a concern. But we knew this as well when we were signing him. But what I'll try to say it like this, as fair as I can be on it. It's not unusual or uncommon for a player to pick up an injury after not playing much or being out for a prolonged period. And we know that he had no real pre-season and no minutes before coming to Liverpool this season because he was frozen out of Juventus. So it's not really too much of a surprise to me that when he starts getting more of a workload into the legs, he got 60 minutes after he came on as a substitute, that his body starts to feel these little reactions. I hope that it's something that Liverpool can navigate through and won't impact too much for Chiesa or us, but I think we're all just excited to see what he can do as well. Like, we know what Chiesa is capable of, and as I keep talking about, I love just watching since he's come to the club him smile. He's been a real breath of fresh air to see how happy he is to make the move across and that, so I'm willing him to do well. Where's the money, John said. Could the lack of people on the streams be due to Liverpool not having played anyone good yet in the Prem? Honestly, I don't know. It's hard to know if it's me, if it's the way where the club is at the minute with regards to everything's kind of steady, you know. There's no real highs, no real lows. It's solid, which is a great thing as a fan. Like, I'm sitting here 9 wins from 10, delighted. But yeah, it's definitely seen a drop off for us, and yeah, you're concerned by these things, obviously, especially, you know, this whole world is kind of outside my comfort zone anyway. Gay is not for Liverpool. Probably right. Yeah, you know, when I've spoken to David Lynch about this and others about Mark Gay, there are certainly things that are likeable and you would appreciate in his play, but what I noticed out there today with Gay as well was the difference in physical stature with the likes of him and Van Dijk and Canade, and you look at the way they defend aerially, so dominantly, so physically. You can see what David Lynch means when he said that Mark Gay wouldn't tick those boxes at a club like Liverpool. So yeah, as much as I think Mark Gay is a fine footballer, I do understand why the club would maybe have not pulled the trigger on that one, especially when you're talking about 65, 70 million quid. Eagle versus Shark. Adrian, how are you? Said, hard to hate when Liverpool are top of the league. It is. The media are doing a good job of still, underappreciating the start we've had. But, as a Liverpool fan, I think we should be really happy where we are right now. It's not been the most convincing start to the season. Like, let's be honest, we haven't exactly been playing vintage football, but we've gotten the results. And I'll take getting the results over some of the frustrating draws we've had over the years. So we are in a good spot right now, but we do know it's going to be a much tougher next couple of months. What is your thoughts on ENQUIRIES? Big fan. Yeah, big fan. Simon, big fan, mate. And I think most people I've spoken to, be it fellow fans, journalists, there is definitely something in ENQUIRIES. Like there's something special there, and I think he would fit in very well with the way that we play. Excuse me. I remember speaking with David Lynch earlier on in the week, and he's not aware of a release clause being in the contract, but I don't know where I got this in my head, but I'm almost certain I read somewhere that ENQUIRIES had a 41 or 42 million pound release clause. Certainly not something that David Lynch is aware of when I spoke to him, as I said, but I swear I've seen somewhere that he has that release clause. G-Man said, Gay only has 1 year left next summer, so he screams the FSG cheaper option. Yeah, look, if I actually thought Newcastle were going to manage to get to a number this summer that Crystal Palace would have done business at, but then when they sold Anderson, I thought maybe not, and Newcastle pushed right up until the last part of the window, but they weren't able to get a deal done. And if there's 1 year left, you would say, unless he signs a new deal there, that Palace will have to sell him next summer. The match was 4:30 a.m. No, Felix, it isn't just about today's numbers, mate. It's more since the start of the season overall. Like, we haven't seen any, like, normally you can tell the peaks and troughs, like you get used to it. But no, it's not just on today, mate. It's just been in general across the board. It just feels like there's less interest, not just in us. I mean, in general with Liverpool at the minute, it just feels like a weird time, which is a strange thing to say as we sit top of the league. Would I take Fikayo Tomori at Liverpool? I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. I think we could do better. He's not really... Look, he's done okay in Italy. Fair enough. But whenever I've watched AC Milan, I've never been too impressed with him. But that being said, I would be also honest with you to say that there will be people who've watched a lot more of him than I have. His release clause is 38 million. I knew I wasn't imagining that he had a release clause. I knew that I'd seen that somewhere. There you go. So that makes it, if that release clause is still there and still active in ENQUIRIES, surely he has to become a realistic option, because that seems really good value for somebody who's only getting better. Do you think Slot will recall Mamardashvili? I don't believe we're able to. From what I'm able to garner so far, I don't think there is a cancellation clause in the deal. Now, of course, I'm going to try and find out more on that if I can, but I certainly wouldn't expect us to know. It's not like it's a season ender for Alisson. It's going to be a couple of months. Yaros is there. Kelleher's there. We just have to hope we don't pick up another injury in the goalkeeping department in that time. Is Alisson out for the season? No. It looked like, we don't know the full extent of it, but it's looking somewhere around 6 to 8 weeks, probably as a minimum. We'll wait and see. I think that at this point the club are probably going to be extra cautious, because what they don't want to happen is a repeat of what's just happened. Alisson to come back from it, play and then pick it up again. So you feel like this would be a time where they're going to want to try and get this sorted and get to the bottom of it. And if that means maybe a bit longer out for the greater good in the longer term, I guess so be it. But as I said, right now we're just waiting for news. But we got good news on McAllister, though. That was good. You know, we'd seen him go off at half time. We were all wondering, you know, was it an injury? Was it tactical? It seems like he felt something. It was precautionary. He is going to travel over with Argentina, so it looks like we've avoided an injury there with McAllister. But it is, again, a warning sign of the demands that are put on these guys and how Arna's going to have to start managing that midfield, maybe with a little bit more rotation moving forward. Will Kelleher be fit to play the next game? Yes, Keith. He was unwell. He wasn't injured. He was just unwell. So I think, you know, international break now, I fully expect Queefeen to be fine, in good health, ready to go for when we come back afterwards. Remember, Chelsea's the first game up. LFC 8092 said, today's victory feels like a defeat. It's weird, isn't it? Like, it is definitely weird. I don't know how to feel. Like, my brain keeps saying, top of the league, Craig. They're top of the league. Top of the league. But I don't know. I'm just unable to get excited yet, if that makes any sense. Yeah, I think I'm just cautious. You don't want to go over the top yet. You'd like to... Yeah, if we beat Chelsea and do it looking good, then I think I'm going to feel a little bit more upbeat. And then we've got that Arsenal game coming up, and that's going to be a big, big game. A big game in the season. We need to start Endo, because his few minutes there was class. He was definitely class, Ahmed, but in a very particular circumstance is what I would try to say. So Endo deserves his flowers for his cameo off the bench today, definitely, and I was really impressed with him as well, but it was a very particular situation where we were trying to stop them playing out, and he was pressing really high up the pitch. He did it very well, but it's a very different role to how we'd normally look for our number 6 to play over the course of a 90-minute game. But today, for what he was needed for, very effective, and deserves the plaudits that he gets for that little cameo from the bench. Same as well, I want to say, for Diaz today. I thought he did a very good job when he came on of helping us run down the clock, see the game out, manage the game, won a couple of throw-ins and a corner, and I just thought he was solid when he came on as well. Really helped to see it out. You know, there was never any... Definitely between 80 and 90 minutes, I felt we were under a bit of the cosh from Crystal Palace, but at no point during the 6 minutes of stoppage time did I ever feel like they were going to score. Did I ever have a fear that they were going to score? It felt like we were well able to manage the game out at that point, which is a really good sign. Because sometimes under Jurgen, unless Jimmy Milner was on the pitch, because if Jimmy Milner was on the pitch, he'll find a way to see the game out. Today just felt more assured and calm, and that's to Arna's credit and the boys' credit. We stopped them from being able to do that in that last 6 minutes. Brad said, Craig, I've also seen very little talk of Liverpool in the media. It's weird, man. The whole space just feels stale, or I don't know, it just feels, from this side of the content world, it feels very weird. As a fan, like you said, I'm not seeing too much hype about Liverpool this season in the media or on the forums, or it's just a really weird time to be a Liverpool fan right now. Ahmed said, also, what I meant when I said Endo should start is we've got good options for midfielders. If one is out, we aren't in the bin. Do you know what we do have, Ahmed? A very good, honest collection of midfielders. Every one of them will run through a brick wall for the manager. I'll say that about every single one of them, whether you're talking about Endo, Jones, the three boys who play week in and week out. Obviously, we've got Elliott injured, but he'll come back in. They'll all run through a brick wall. They're all honest, hard-working, good lads. And, you know, it's not often you get to say that. But Jurgen, and now Arne, has fostered this spirit in the club of just good goddamn people, for want of a better phrase. The media focus is all on United or Arsenal. Certainly United. Every day I open up the Sky Sports app, there's 5 or 6 different stories on United because there's such a circus at the minute. And then there's this, as you've said, Lynn, this real desire, mate, for Arsenal to be in the title race and do well. It almost seems like you've even got Neville, like, preaching about Arsenal and the title race and, you know, talking about how we don't look like champions. But yeah, Arsenal are brilliant and their defence is amazing. And yet we've only conceded 3 goals in all competitions. And yet still no one's talking about us. Like, we've played 7 games in the Premier League and I think we've kept 5 clean sheets. And nobody's really talking about our defence at all in the media. All we ever get was like, oh, well, you haven't played anyone yet. Well, we played United at Old Trafford and beat them off the park. It's, yeah. I feel like the boys, if I'm in that dressing room, if I'm Liverpool in that dressing room, I'm feeling a little bit underestimated. And I'd use that to our advantage, of course. You'd be certainly creating that Seeds mentality in there, saying everybody else is writing us off. Let's keep going. What's your honest prediction for Liverpool versus Chelsea? I think we're going to wipe the floor with them. Let me explain why. It's not just an arrogant, we're better than Chelsea. If Chelsea persist on playing out from the back, like they do, I think we'll set traps and cause them problems, particularly at Anfield. If they insist on trying this, playing around our press, our forwards and our midfield are very adept to the press and when to hunt in packs. And I'm sure Maresca's going to expect this, but from what I've seen of Chelsea this season, they don't seem to change that plan. It's play out from the back at all costs. If they do that, honestly, I feel it'll play into our hands. But, you know, that's just my thoughts now. We'll see what happens when the game's on. But I'm not fearing them, but I'm certainly respectful of their firepower up top. You know, they're scoring some goals this season. So, for a result, I feel like it's one of those games that's probably going to have goals in it. So I feel like it'll be something like a 4-2, maybe something like that. Any concerns we're not finishing teams off sooner? Yes, Ty, definitely. I guess it's difficult to overcommit. So we've seen on the Jurgen before, we've been caught out, right? We go to try kill a team off. Hasn't worked, we get caught from a set piece. I've never felt the same panic that we're going to concede under Arne, but there definitely is the ability there for us to make it a little bit more comfortable on ourselves. As an example, when we played Bologna the other night, I thought there was 20 minutes where we were unplayable and we should have been out of sight and the game should have been dead and buried. Same today, I felt like we had that period in the first half where we could have put the game to bed. We didn't. They came out second half. They had a lot more spirit about them, a lot more fight about them. Add in the fact McAllister had left the pitch and we'd made a change in midfield and they found their way back into the game. Of course, add into that as well Simon Hooper being an absolute fucking spoofer. Will Kareem Adeyemi be a good right wing for us if we bring him in, an understudy or replacement for Salah? Well, I can see him coming in as an understudy, to be fair. Would he be good enough? I think the jury's still out, but you're certainly not going to be angry if we were to go and get him, you know. 50 million euro looks like the price tag that's been mentioned for somebody. And he certainly has all the attributes that you'd be excited by him, but he's not going to do Mo numbers. Nobody's going to do Mo numbers, so I'm just really, really anxious over the contract situations at the minute. I find as each day goes by, I'm losing more and more hope that we get them all done, because I still can't figure out why we're in this position with the contracts. I think the lack of Klopp's presence might cause the lack of interest in Liverpool. It definitely does feel like, does anybody else feel that there's a lack of enthusiasm around the club at the minute? That's probably the right word, because I don't think it's a lack of interest, because fans are fans and we're always going to watch. But it does, I can't quite put my finger on it, but it feels like the party hasn't started yet this season for us, or something like that. Am I concerned that Darwin didn't get any minutes today? I thought the game was set up for Mahmoud to come on and get some minutes, you know, because Diogo started brilliantly, took his goal really well. But after that, I felt like there wouldn't have been too many complaints if Arna took off Diogo and put on Darwin. So yeah, I won't say disappointed, but I was surprised not to see him get the nod from the bench for the last 15-20. You know, especially as the game began to stretch a little bit and we could have maybe utilised his pace a bit more. It was a strange game as well from Diogo because some really good stuff, really intelligent stuff that you got used to with him, and then some very wasteful, frustrating stuff. Again, we've seen Mo taken off today around the 70-75 minute mark, and it was interesting to see Lucho on the right for that period. I thought he did really well. When is Dan's back? So he is. I asked David this the other day. He's running. He's out running at the minute, but he's still to resume full training yet. But it is a good sign that he's out there running. So I would say he'll start to be in and around the first team more after the international break. I don't think he's too far away at all. You know, if he's out running, that's definitely a good sign, especially when it was a back problem. Can you take me through your thoughts on the Van Dijk incident? Do you think it was a pen? No, I don't. But I wouldn't have complained if it was given. I'll tell you why I didn't think it was a penalty. Because I don't think the player was ever getting near the ball. The ball was going straight to Alisson. But if it was given and I'd seen the arm grab by Van Dijk, I don't think I could have had too much to complain about. That's probably where I am with it. Yeah, I think that's... Yeah, I'm comfortable in saying that. Josh Brayshaw, thank you, mate. Appreciate your super sticker. And it's going alright, mate. It's going alright. Salah and Trent wants to stay. No idea what the deal is not done yet. And Virgil. Virgil wants to stay as well. I think all three of them want to stay, in all honesty. And as I've always said, I've got every sympathy for Hughes and Edwards around the Salah Van Dijk situation. Because you do have to factor in the age and a potential drop-off. But I've none over Trent. Like, I just think it's the height of stupidity that we're here over Trent. Again, it is a situation that Hughes inherited, you know, when he came into the club, but it still needs to be sorted quickly. Because I'm starting to feel like it is affecting Trent. I'm starting to feel like it's weighing on his mind a bit. The whole uncertainty, the whole, maybe the flirting of Real Madrid. We're not seeing the best of Trent. And we know he's capable of a lot more than we're seeing from him this season so far. And I think he's a human being, so it has to be playing on his mind somewhat. As much of a professional as he is, it's still a big situation. Like, you're talking about probably the peak years of his career now. Is he going to commit them to Liverpool? Is he going to go over to Spain? And I know for a fact that we are going to be bombarded with newspaper column and inches over the international break, pictures of him and Bellingham with England. You just know what's coming. Like, I've been around long enough to know that this is going to start getting a little bit more shitty in the media. And Spanish media are going to pile on as well. You've already seen the story starting to come out saying that, Trent's already agreed to come to Madrid and Trent's already told Liverpool he's not signing. And it's all lies. But it's only going to intensify until it's solved. And again, the club might say it's all in hand. Does anybody feel this isn't a distraction? Genuinely, I mean, I'm going to put it to a vote, actually. 1 second. Let me get the poll up. One second. Just trying to word this as best as I can. Right, so what I'm asking is, are the contract situations a distraction to the team? All three of them. Do you think in any way it's a distraction or could become a distraction? I'm going to put that up and you guys can vote away on it and we'll come back to it in a while and see what people think. Ahmed, your thoughts on Yaros today? Because I think he looked good. Was a nice save. Swept well. Looked confident. So even if something happens to Kelleher, we're not in the bin. Again, I agree with you, Ahmed. I think It was a big moment for him to step into, away from home, at a pivotal point in the game as well, where it hung in the balance. And he was tested, and he commanded his area well, and he made the saves he should have made, but needed to make. And I certainly feel like he can take confidence from that performance. I hope the defence in front of him can take some confidence from it as well. You know, they will know about Yaros. They would have trained with him. But yeah, he's a very good keeper. So no crumbs whatsoever about that today. It was a good performance. I think he can certainly take heart from it. Lynn said, Hughes may have inherited the contract issue, but like any other jobs we go into, we have to get down to the job. The delay is not good for the club and the players and for us fans. I think that's more than fair, Lynn. It is starting to feel a little bit like it's unnecessarily long now, especially for Trent. Because if I'm Hughes and Edwards, every time there's an international break and I know he's going to that England camp, I know he's going to be one step closer to Madrid. So I'm certainly wanting to get it sorted ASAP. And for me, personally, I think it is all a distraction. And I've found it a distraction in years gone by with the Salah situation and his contract situations before this one. And I think it's like a looming catastrophe on the horizon that we can see, but we don't know if it's going to sail past us or come straight at us. But we know it's there. And we know we've got to be concerned about it. And I think what makes it worse for me is, if the worst did come to the worst and we did lose some of the lads, I've got no faith in these owners to replace them. None. And that makes it even more anxiety-laden for me. What have we got? The longer it takes, the bigger the distraction, in my opinion, said Mike. Who do we buy if Trent goes? Do you know what? I'm not going to lie, Sam. I haven't even given it a minute's thought, mate. Because I refuse to acknowledge it happening in my head. I'm not saying it might not happen, but I'm saying I'm kind of just pulling down the shutters over it and thinking, not thinking about that. Obviously, you've got Conor Bradley there, but you would still expect... I mean, it depends what you want. You know, if you want a wing back, you look at somebody like a Frimpong. If you want a right back, maybe you stick with Bradley and look to bring in somebody else, maybe a little bit more experience to provide cover or something. But I don't feel Bradley's there yet. I think he needs another year to 18 months to really get to where he can get to, because he's a great young player. Michael said, we're a top, get behind the team, stop being so doom and gloom. The fuck are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Where's the doom and gloom? I literally started the whole stream off talking about being top of the league. I said it about 15 times in a row. Are we not allowed to be concerned about a really big situation that still hasn't been resolved? You don't think that's maybe worth some pause for concern just for a minute? I've no idea what he's talking about, Meeks. I've no idea. I don't know where he's going with this doom and gloom stuff either, because there's certainly no doom and gloom here, mate. I'm more than happy to be sitting top of the league. Dave said, I feel Bradley has slipped a bit back from last year. I don't know if it's that he's regressed a bit, Dave, or that he had such a rise to prominence and breakthrough that, I mean, I often talk about this on the show. It's not unusual for players, young players in particular, to go through ups and downs as their career starts and as they burst onto the scene. It's why quite often you'll see a manager introduce a youngster for a few games. They do well, then they'll pull them back out of the fold and, you know, kind of regroup and go again. You don't want to give them too much too soon, but you also don't want to stop the progression. I do agree with you, though. When I've seen Conor Bradley this season so far, I've certainly not seen the same swashbuckling attitude, but that could be under instruction from the way Arna's asking him to play. Roger Rabbit said, I thought the spine of our team was terrific today. Macca's loss was a disruption. Definitely agree with you on that one. He's one of those players, Macca, that you might not really see what you missed until he isn't there. And certainly in the second half, they had a bit more control of the midfield area without Maka being on the pitch. Neutral said Mo is not trying. Seems like he wants to go and it's showing on the pitch. Honestly, I can talk about Mo's form dropping a bit at times, but I would never accuse him of not trying. And I wouldn't have said it today either. Certainly there's been some inconsistencies in some performances. You look at what he did midweek, goal and assist. And then you look at some of the passing that he's missing some really simple layoffs or simple passes. But I wouldn't agree that he isn't trying. I definitely don't feel that. But I guess, look, we're all entitled to our own opinions. I just don't see a lack of effort from Mo. Ali said, Craig, everyone talking about Salah going to Saudi, but I think he goes to PSG in all honesty. Him and Nasser Al-Khalifi got a serious relationship. Yes, I know. I'm still pissed off about that lunch they had after the Bournemouth game. And they do have space in their squad for a superstar at the minute, don't they? I mean, I looked at the team that they put out against Arsenal, and I know that Dembele was left out because of, I think he had an issue with the manager or something, but it was one of the poorer looking PSG squads I remember seeing. Now, maybe you can talk about the fact that they're a better cohesive team now than they were in years gone by, but certainly looking at the starting 11, if I was an Arsenal fan, that wouldn't have been putting the fear of God into me or anything. So maybe. I think it's more likely if he was to depart this year that you could be right, that maybe he does feel like he still has a couple more years in Europe at the top level. And I'm sure Nasser Al-Khalifi, as you said, would be more than happy to bring him to Paris. But I just think he's too good to go to the Saudi Pro League now. I think he's 3 years off that level. Minimum, probably. Wes said, Mo feels so disrespected by people. He'll always give 100%. Do you know what's mad, Wes? And I said it on the watch along. Sometimes it feels like whatever I say about Mo, I can't win. If I defend him, I'm a Mo apologist. If I call him out for poor performances, I'm a Mo hater or worse. So these days I kind of just shrug my shoulders and just continue to say what I see. And you know me, I'm not afraid to call Mo out if I don't think he's doing well. But I'm not seeing a lack of effort from him this season. I've seen a lack of end product at times. And if I was concerned about anything this season, it's probably his shooting and his passing more than his effort. I feel Salah got a couple more years at the top level, said Ahmed, but I'd love to ask, if Saudi came with 100 million, would you take it? It's kind of a pointless question because his agent and him won't take the deal. So even if they came in January and Liverpool said, sure, we'd sell, he's not going because he knows there's a bigger pot of money there if he hangs off 6 months. Understandable. Any of us in that position would probably feel the same. So I guess the answer to the question is he worth 100 million now? Well, I think 100 million is probably a good number you would get, but there's no way we're getting it now because of the situation we're in. I feel a bit weird about this because I agreed not to sell him last year and I thought that was the right thought process. I did expect him to go this summer just gone, to be honest with you. But when he didn't, again, it's tough to get a read on that one, of what is going to happen. Personally, I'd give him 2 years, Virgil 2 years, and Trent 5 or 6. I think all of them, Virgil and Mo, definitely have at least 2 more years at the top. Probably more. Endo is the man to bring on when you're under pressure. You need to hold on. He was great today, Omendo, when he came on. Really, really good. And really helped to see that game out. Would you take Zubimendi as well? Yes, I would. I know it's hard to be rejected. And we were in the summer. And it sucks and it stung and we were frustrated. But yeah, if he said, look, I've made a mistake, I should have made the move, and the move happened, I wouldn't be displeased over it. You know, I do look at it that it was a special situation because it's his hometown club. His family are settled there. He likes the quality of life his family has there. And it wasn't just a footballing decision. If he said, I'm not going to Liverpool, I don't believe in the project, or I'm not going to Liverpool, I don't think they're going in the right direction, that'd be a different conversation. But when it was what it was, maybe as I've gotten older and mellowed out a bit in life, I kind of see the bigger picture. So, yeah, it sucks though, because it's 3 years we've been trying to fill this position. Ash, you've wrote that comment a few times, mate. I don't know if I would agree with you, mate, that his role has changed under Slot. He's still the narrowest of our wide forwards. Lucho's been asked to hug the touchline a lot more. Mo's given much more freedom to come into the half space and try and attack from there. So, yeah, I still think he's gotten plenty of attacking opportunities and space and freedom from the manager in that regard. So I think I disagree with you on his role changing a whole lot. Craig, when a man has loyalty like that, then he needs to be respected. Who are we speaking about now? I'm sorry, I don't know LFC Love who we're speaking. We're still speaking about Mo. Mo deserves to be respected, end of. You know, what he's done at the club. You know, we're going to be talking about this man in 10, 20, 30 years' time. Do you think we can win the quadruple? No, I don't, mate. Zubamendi. Sorry. I get where you're coming from. Sorry. I forgot where we were talking there. No, I don't think we can win the quadruple, mate, because nobody's ever done it, so. Mark, how are you? Mark Smith said, FSG are driven by money profit, so makes no sense to leave the 3 contracts. It's weird because I don't know the exact number now. I think it's something like 11 of the last 14 or something like that have left the club for free. There's been too many players walking out the door without Liverpool getting a transfer fee for them. And the one that really is going to stick in the throat is if we lose Trent for free. Because he's not 32, 33. You're talking about somebody there who's just coming into the prime as a player. And the idea of losing him for free, it's just disgusting, to be honest. What's the Alisson news? It's looking like 6 to 8 weeks. Again, you're going to have to wait for the scans, but Arna said he doesn't really expect to see him back until after the November international break, which will be what? 6 or so weeks away. Let's run the double. Yes, I'll sign up for a double. Absolutely. Champions League, Premier League double though. No 2 domestic trophy double. Proper double. Michael said, sorry Craig, doom and gloom was not meant the way it came across. It's all good, man. It's easy for me to not really understand someone's complete motives from a couple of sentences, Michael. There is some doom and gloom around. And do you know what I'm finding difficult, Michael? It's not so much the doom and gloom, mate. It's the willingness and eagerness to write people off that have been bugging me lately with our fan base. You know, every week it feels like there's some people who are coming in who just want to scapegoat someone. Whether it's Szoboszlai, whether it's Salah. It just feels like everyone has to be scapegoated, or there has to be one reason for something. Like, we've won matches, Michael, and I've had people come in and piss and moan about Szoboszlai or Salah missing a chance. And like yourself, I'm going, but we're winning. We're winning, like. John, how are you? Said, do you think Grafenberg could be a new Gerrard? Oh, I don't know, man. That's a big ask. You know, Stevie G was he was a once in a generation player. He was probably he lifted everyone around him, even when times when Liverpool weren't the team they should have been around Gerrard. He just had this ability to win a game on his own or change the course of a season on his own. those type of players don't come around very often. But that being said, Ryan Gravenberch deserves every bit of credit that he's getting, because he has been nothing short of phenomenal this season. Absolutely sensational. Do you think we overpass we're in the final third? No, it's intentional. So what Arne doesn't want is us to waste possession and get frustrated. He wants the lads to feel comfortable with the ball until they see the right option. So if it takes 6, 7, 8, 9 passes side to side, moving around, he wants the lads to feel comfortable with that. And what I would say is, I want them to feel more comfortable with that, because I want us to finally crack this low block issue that's been an Achilles heel for us for a long time. So sometimes in transition, you want to move quickly. But to be fair, I do think we still can counter-attack with pace and directness. But when people have gotten bodies back behind the ball, he just wants the lads to make the right runs and to see the runs and to move and make the right pass at the right time. And some of that's going to be just repetition. Repetition of movement, repetition of runs from players, and it'll only get better. It'll only get better. I think we've done actually remarkably well so far in what we've done in that regard. Sometimes you see one or two of the lads not on the same wavelength, but I really took a lot of heart from our goal today and the way that we scored it. It was so simple, but yet it was so effective. It was a ball from the centre back to our left back, who split their defence, played a lovely ball in behind to Gakpo, who went round the outside, then got to the byline, flipped it across the front of the 6-yard box, and then in came Diogo, third man run behind everyone. It was delicious, and it was so quick. It was just bang, 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 done. And if we can make that more common, and if we can turn defence or possession into an attack like that quickly, that's good signs for me anyway. Maybe I'm deluded, I don't know. Don't you think that City look vulnerable? Yes, absolutely. The most vulnerable they've probably looked. Like, put it this way, imagine they picked up a Haaland injury. So De Bruyne is at the very tail end of his career, and I feel like Pep's really going to have to manage his minutes. Obviously Rodri's out now for the season, and any team is going to miss one of, if not the best defensive midfielder in the world. So yes, I definitely do feel like, and they've gotten rid of Julian Alvarez, of course, as well, so no backup there. Obviously they brought in the kid that they had at their sister club, but as in goal scoring wise, Alvarez always chipped in with a few. So I do think they're vulnerable, yes, and add to that the noise that's going to come around November, December, January, when that trial is getting to it, or that hearing is getting to its latter stages. I think the pressure is going to really ratchet up on Man City this season. I just don't want Arsenal to be the ones to profit from it. I want it to be us. Ruzba, how are you, my friend? Said, it only takes one serious midfield injury for us to be screwed. I really hope Maka's injury isn't serious. Missing him for Arsenal is criminal. Well, it's precautionary based off, his own words and what we heard after the game. But it does feel like if he go, I'm not going to lie, mate. I have a feeling right now that if he goes away with Argentina and plays, he's getting injured. So I hope that Argentina are sensible managing him, because, as you said, we need him for these games coming up against Chelsea and Arsenal, Brighton coming up as well. Omenda said, you think Zubamendi would prefer City to us in January if he decides to leave? So, there's a couple of things that make me say no. One, I don't think you replace Rodri with Zubamendi. I don't think stylistically it makes sense. And two, and maybe I'm being naive here, but could you, as his agent, tell him to go to Manchester City right now with everything that's going on? Like, he could sign for City in January as an example. We could find out in February that they're being relegated, or that they're getting points deductions, or they're getting kicked out of European competition for 3 or 4 years. I don't know how anybody could look their client in the eye and say that the best thing for you right now was to go to Manchester City. I couldn't. If it was my son, brother, cousin, friend, I would be saying, stay away. Don't go near it. You don't want to be dragged through that shit. Fergal said, I think Arsenal are our biggest challengers this season. I have the same fear about Macca, said Lynn. And to be fair to the Argentinian manager, he kind of did manage them through the last international break a bit. But again, here we are in another international break and there's another concern going into it. So let's check on the poll where we said, are the contract situations a distraction to the team? So almost 500 votes, and so far almost 3/4 of you guys, 74% are saying yes, they are a distraction. Is Alisson out for the season? No, he's not out for the season. He'll probably out until after the November international break. Again, this is an early guesstimation from the club, or at least from Arna. But you got to wait for the results of the scan until we know exactly what it is we're dealing with. I know you can often look at the players for some guidance, and he looked like he knew that he was going to be out for a little while there, unfortunately. Ali said, Zubimendi would have been perfect to come on for Macca today. He would have helped control the game. Yeah. And that's what we are missing right now, is just that little bit of cover, breathing room. You know, Jones can come in and do a job, but I don't think he can do a McAllister job or a Gravenberg job. I think he can do a Soboslai job, but he's just, I don't think he has the, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, class of a McAllister. Right, do we need a striker? Maybe yes, Ty. If Darwin doesn't figure it out, then yes. Because I don't see Jota staying fit enough all season. And two, I don't know if Jota's ever going to be prolific enough. He's very intelligent. He's a damn fine footballer. But I just don't know what he is. I don't see him as a real out-and-out number 9. Rachel said, I'm quite glad now that we got an international break. Yeah. I'm probably going to be stressed right the way through it, Rachel, over the channel's future. But from the lads' perspective, it gives us another chance to reset. I don't think we've ever really played our best since we've come back from the October international break. We went into it off a great victory against United, and we found a way to win since then, but we've not really looked at our glorious best. We have Southampton, Real Madrid, City, Newcastle just after the November international break. Yep, and we've got Brighton twice as well in there. We should have re-signed Solanke. I don't think he's the right type of player for what we need, personally. And he's only had, let's be honest about this as well, he's had one good season. You know, you need a bigger sample size than that if you're going to be bringing back somebody in for 60, 65 million quid. Let's see how he gets on this year with Spurs. Darwin should have left last summer. So, if we sold him last summer, you're probably going to take a half the fee loss on him. You're probably going to get €50 million back from him, which is a lot of money to flash down the pan. But, you know, again, he's not living up to his end of the bargain as of yet. How long will Alisson be out for? The perceived wisdom, mate, is 6 to 8 weeks, but we don't know for certain just yet. I don't even know when Ireland are playing actually during the international break. Right, look, ladies and gents, I'm going to go grab a shower and finish packing. But I will see you guys in 8 or 9 days. All going well. And again, whatever happens, happens. But thank you for everything you've done so far and for being here supporting us. It means a lot. So enjoy yourselves over the international break, and I will catch up with you on the 14th or 15th. I'll see you guys around then. Much love. Bye bye.